The story of Denise Amber Lee is a heartbreaking tale of tragedy, bravery, and the relentless pursuit of justice. January 17, 2008, in Northport, Florida, Denise was at home with her two young sons. Denise, a 21-year-old mother and loving wife, was the heart of her family. She had been married to her high school sweetheart, Nathan Lee, and together they were building a life filled with love, dreams, and the joys of raising their children. But that ordinary afternoon, everything changed in an instant. A man named Michael King, a stranger with a troubled history, drove into the peaceful neighborhood where Denise lived and shattered that sense of safety. Michael King forced his way into Denise's home, taking her at gunpoint, leaving behind her two children who were far too young to understand the horror unfolding. King, who had no known connection to Denise or her family, had been driving aimlessly looking for a victim, and tragically that day he chose Denise. It was a random, senseless act that would end in unimaginable loss. At around 3:29 p.m., Nathan Lee arrived home to find his wife missing and their two children alone. His heart sank and panic quickly set in. He immediately called 911, frantically reporting that his wife had been taken. It was the start of a massive search effort involving local law enforcement and the community, but as hours passed, fear grew for Denise's safety. Nathan and Denise's family clung to hope, but they knew time was running out. Meanwhile, Denise, in a moment of extraordinary bravery, found a way to make her own desperate plea for help. While bound and held captive in the backseat of King's car, she managed to grab his phone and dial 911. Denise spoke calmly, yet with fear in her voice, giving as much detail as she could about her abductor and the car they were in. She described the green Camaro King was driving and her general surroundings. She begged the dispatcher for help, but despite her efforts, the call was tragically cut short. Due to technical limitations, authorities were unable to pinpoint her exact location in time. Michael King, after kidnapping Denise, drove around for hours, stopping at various places while authorities were trying to track him down. Several witnesses would later come forward, having seen King's car during the time he was holding Denise captive. They noticed something seemed off, but no one could have imagined what was happening inside that vehicle. One witness, Jane Kowalski, even called 911 after seeing a woman in distress in King's car, but confusion over jurisdiction between dispatchers delayed the police response. It was a missed opportunity that haunts those involved to this day. By the evening of January 17th, after hours of terror, Denise's body was discovered in a remote area. The news of her death devastated her family and the community that had rallied together in hopes of her safe return. It was a senseless, brutal murder that left everyone asking why. Michael King was arrested shortly afterward, his green Camaro having been spotted by police. Inside his car, investigators found key pieces of evidence that linked him to the crime, including strands of Denise's hair. The trial that followed was harrowing. Michael King showed no remorse for his actions, even as the court heard the details of his horrific crime. Denise's family had to relive the nightmare as they sat in court, listening to the evidence and the chilling 911 call their beloved daughter, wife, and mother had made in her final moments. King was found guilty of kidnapping and first-degree murder, and in 2009 he was sentenced to death. Nathan Lee, Denise's husband, was left heartbroken by the loss of his wife. But rather than let the tragedy destroy him, he turned his pain into a mission for change. Nathan began to advocate for improvements to the 911 emergency response system. He believed that better training, technology, and coordination between dispatchers could have saved Denise's life, especially given the multiple 911 calls that had been made that day. Nathan founded the Denise Amber Lee Foundation to fight for these changes and prevent another family from experiencing such a devastating loss. The Foundation's mission was to ensure that 911 dispatchers had the proper training and resources to respond more effectively in emergencies. Through Nathan's relentless efforts, the Foundation raised awareness about the importance of an efficient emergency response system, and significant reforms have since been made across the country. These changes include improved 911 technology, better training for dispatchers, and enhanced communication between different agencies. Denise's story resonated with many, not only because of the horror of the crime, but also because of her bravery and Nathan's determination to make sure her death would not be in vain. The Denise Amber Lee Foundation has since saved countless lives by advocating for better 911 services, and it continues to be a beacon of hope for families who need fast, reliable emergency help. The legacy of Denise Amber Lee is one of resilience. In the face of terrifying circumstances, Denise showed incredible courage by calling 911, even though she knew her life was in grave danger. Her family, especially Nathan, has shown tremendous strength in turning their grief into a movement for justice and change. While Denise's life was stolen far too soon, her story has had a lasting impact, inspiring reforms that will help others in their time of need. To this day, Denise Amber Lee's memory lives on, not just in the hearts of her family and friends, but in the lives saved by the work done in her name. The story of her abduction, the efforts to find her, and the trial of her killer is a sobering reminder of the importance of vigilance, community support, and a responsive 911 system. Denise's legacy continues to make the world a safer place, and her bravery serves as an inspiration to all who hear her story. If you want to stay informed on more true crime stories and updates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to never miss an episode. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay safe and vigilant.